Hi, this is Christian Cantrell, and this is the 2013 BMW R 1200 GS. First of all, I'm doing this review using Google Glass. As you can see here, I figured it might be kind of useful for me to keep my hands free to point things out, so I thought I'd give this a try. I've had this bike for a couple of months now, put a couple thousand miles on it, so I thought I would just give you some sort of unrehearsed, rapid impressions to let you know what I think about the bike. So first of all, I'll start with the features of the bike, and then I'll move on to some of the accessories that I've installed. As you can see, I have several accessories installed. I've had several bikes, a couple of BMWs, but I'm not a BMW apologist necessarily. It's not the only bike I've ever owned. I've owned a bunch of different kinds. I looked at a bunch of different kinds of bikes. I considered the Triumph Tiger Explorer. I considered a couple of Ducatis, the Multistrada and the Hyperstrada. I also considered the Yamaha Tenere, and this was the only bike of all of them that I felt like had all of the features that I really wanted. It has, as far as I can tell, more features than any other adventure bike out there. It's the most advanced and feature-rich adventure bike, a big bore 1200cc motorcycle out there. So let's start with some of the features. First of all, I wanted a bike that had ABS. That was really important to me. My last bike did not have ABS. There were a couple of times when I really wished it did. One time which I really wished it did. And so I decided that my next bike was going to have ABS. I've actually tested this ABS system out pretty thoroughly at the BMW Performance Driving School. And if you think that you can brake better than a computer, you're just flat out wrong. I did tests, 60 miles an hour to a dead stop with and without ABS, and the ABS systems are just so far superior. If you don't want to spend the money, I get it. You don't want a bike with ABS. Maybe you mostly go off-road. That's fine. I get it. But don't think that you can actually brake better than a computer, because you really can't, and you'll find out the hard way that you can't. This bike also has ASC. This is automatic stability control. This is sort of a complement to ABS. So where ABS prevents your tires from locking up while braking, ASC will prevent your tires from sliding while accelerating. So you can really, twist the throttle, accelerate really fast. You don't have to worry about your rear wheel spinning out. You also don't have to worry about when it's activated, your front tire lifting up. It keeps all of the tires in contact all the time. This bike also has ESA. This is electronic suspension adjustment, ESA. This is a really slick feature, which is pretty new, starting to appear on a couple of bikes out there. The Ducati has the Multistrada has the Skyhook system. It's a semi-active suspension system, which is constantly measuring the road conditions, measuring the lean angle of the bike, and constantly adjusting the suspension to make sure that you have the best possible performance, it's really nice to be able to also just adjust your suspension electronically. So when you put bags on the bike, you can just tell the bike that you have bags. You can tell the bike you have another rider, or whatever it is, and it will automatically adjust the suspension for you, which is really slick. So we have a lot of different controls here, ABS, AFC, and ESA. You can actually control all of them really sort of easily and as a group using different ride modes. So you can set the ride modes for road, rain, dynamic, enduro, and enduro pro, I believe. Enduro Pro basically turns everything off. In fact, you actually have to install a special chip under the seat here for enduro mode to work, which is basically telling the bike you want no safety features whatsoever. They all get turned off, and then you can take the bike off-road, do whatever you want with it, and you're kind of responsible for what happens. But these different ride modes will do things like adjust your throttle, adjust ABS, adjust the responsiveness of all of these different systems. This bike is a ride-by-wire system, so it can adjust the throttle. And all of those things can be sort of adjusted in concert to give you the best possible riding experience for different conditions. Dynamic being really sort of sport conditions, rain obviously being for wet roads, and then roads being for typical dry roads, enduro for being off-road, and enduro pro being for hardcore off-road riding. So we also have here cruise control, which is really nice. I really love bikes with cruise control. I'd never had one before. This is the first bike I've ever had with cruise control, but I'll probably never buy another bike without it again. It's really, really convenient when you're on the highway. Turn it on, and it's possibly even a little dangerous because it sort of encourages you to get a little lazy with your right hand, take it off the throttle, and maybe like lean it across the gas tank like this, which probably isn't safe, but it's super, super comfortable. So that's a feature I really like. What else do we have here? This is, of course, the 2013 BMW R1200 GS, which means that it is a water-cooled as well as air-cooled engine. So what that means is it's what BMW calls precision-cooled. So we have radiators here, which is new to these bikes, right? Because they used to just be the cylinders with these fins, this opposing twin. It was all sort of air-cooled and or oil-cooled, as it's sometimes called. Now we have this precision water-cooled system where it is, I believe, 35% water-cooled and 65% air-cooled. And so that allows you to get a little bit more power out of the bike without having to worry about the bike getting too hot. They've been able to increase the power, which is kind of nice. And basically, the water only gets to the points that really have the maximum need for heat exchange, which is why it's only 35%. So this is my first R1200 GS, so I can't really compare it to the previous ones, but I'm really happy with it. You can also see here, if you're familiar with the older models, they've adjusted the intake here. It used to stick out a little more on this side, which would get in the way of your legs, which people didn't really like. We also have LED lights, which are really nice. They're nice and bright and don't use too much power. In cars, you don't really worry about your battery too much because you have this nice big battery. Motorcycles, you really have to worry about the amount of power that you're drawing. Talked about ride modes, heated hand grips. I ride year round, so I really like the heated hand grips. In the fall, starting to get a little bit cooler now, and in the winter, those are really, really nice. What else do we have here? The shaft drive. This is really important. This is probably the primary reason I went with the BMW over the Ducati Multistrada. I love the Ducati. My last bike was a Ducati. I love Ducatis in general. I really wanted that Multistrada. I was going to get the Touring version, Touring S, but it didn't have a shaft drive, and I'm just kind of lazy, and I kind of am tired of maintaining a chain, tired of the cleaning and the lubrication and all that stuff. So I went with one with the shaft drive. So I'm walking around the bike here, seeing if I've forgotten any of the main features of the bike itself before I transition into the accessories. So I'll just get started on some of the extras that I've installed on the bike. The first thing here is this GPS system. This is a Garmin GPS system, but it's actually sold by BMW. It actually is called the Navigator 4. This is really a Garmin Zumo system, which is not that good. I paid way too much for it. I think I paid something like $800 or something, which is pretty ridiculous. It's not that good of a system. If you're used to using a smartphone or an iPhone or an Android device, those GPSs are far better. But what's nice about this is it is weather resistant, and it does integrate nicely with the controls on the handlebar here. And it's the only GPS that actually integrates with the controls. So you have this sort of spin control, a direction control. It's like a D-pad, and you can also click, which means you can more easily navigate the GPS while you're riding. So I went ahead and spent the money. It's not a great system, but it's decent. What I like about it, though, actually, it's also a touch system. You can use it with gloves. It's really nice because it has your speed here and the speed limit, and will tell you when you're speeding. It just turns your speed red when you're speeding. So that's kind of nice to be able to sort of look down and see what the speed limit is, see how far over the speed limit you're going, which you usually will be on this bike. Just kind of try and gauge whether you're going to get a reckless driving ticket or, exactly what your risks are going through any given area, which is kind of nice. This is a California Scientific windscreen that I put on. It's a nice tall windscreen, taller than the one that came on the bike. One of the nice features of this bike is that you can actually adjust the windscreen here, which is really slick. So that's in this topmost position. I've just been riding around town a little bit, so I'll lower it, let a little air get to my head and my helmet, which is nice when it's warm out. But when you're on the highway, you can lift it. Here's a little tip, though. Before you go on the highway, make sure you crank it up first. Once you're going 60, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, you cannot crank it up. I don't know why. But once you're actually on the highway, this thing will not turn. I guess it's probably the additional, pressure on the system, which won't allow this knob to turn. But this is a different windscreen. It's taller. Again, it's by California Scientific. One of the nice features is it has this vent here, which allows air to pass through. And that keeps a low pressure system from developing behind the windshield, right? Because all the air is being moved over the windshield here, which means you can have a low pressure system which can build up here, which tends to kind of pull the rider forward, which is uncomfortable. So this little vent here sort of alleviates that. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it here. It alleviates that low pressure system and makes it a little bit more comfortable for the rider. So that's kind of nice. I have these engine guards on here, which you might have seen earlier. These are actually BMW Engine Guards that I installed. You can get them from companies like Touratech. Other companies make them too. They're hard to get right now, so BMW was the first to ship. I ordered them from a couple of different companies. This was the first that shipped, so I canceled my other orders. But for a bike like this, where your cylinders stick out, this is a boxer engine, the opposing twin. I think it's a good idea to have these on. If you drop this bike, if it gets tipped over, something happens, you don't want to be banging up your cylinders. With these on, you can lay the bike down, no problem. At low speeds, you're fine. You can also get uppers, which protect your front fairing there. I don't think I need that. Hopefully, I'm not going to go over that hard. But these are good for just casual, tip overs if someone hits you in a parking lot or something like that. Of course, this bike comes equipped with the center stand, which I really like. I use this frequently. It makes the bike a little more compact in the garage if you have other vehicles that need to share the space, and so you can do maintenance on the bike, and makes it easier to install things and stuff like that. So I really like center stands. This came with it, so I didn't have to install it, which is nice. Of course, we have the side stand here as well. I have these bags here. These are the Touratech bags, Zega Pro. This is the first time I've tried these bags, and I've been pretty happy with them. You can see they're metal, they're aluminum. I have the 38 and 31 liter bags. This is the 38, this one's 31. It's on the exhaust side, so it has to be a little bit smaller. I've been very happy with these bags. They have locks on either side. You can open them either way you want. I just have a backpack and a bag and some water and stuff in here. The other side, I've got some rain gear. They go on easily, come off easily. I'm very happy with these bags. I also have the top case, which is 38 liters. It can fit a full face helmet. I don't have installed right now. I don't really like the looks of it that much, so I don't install it unless I need it. But if I'm traveling or something, I'll put the top case on it as well. All of the bags have liners, which can be lifted out like suitcases, which is nice, and you get to your destination. I took this bike to the beach over the summer. When I got there, you just pop these open, pull your bags out. It's really convenient. I also have these tail bags on here, which are nice. It uses some kind of otherwise unused dead space here. I keep tools in mine, so I just have torques and screwdrivers and stuff like that, some various tools. What else do I have installed on this thing? Not as much as I'd like, but I've got plenty. Probably the last thing I want to point out here is I have this little Tamper Proof Oil Cap here, which I really like. The cap that comes on it is just this sort of ugly plastic thing, which you can actually get off with just a screwdriver or something if you want to. There's actually a tool under the seat which is embedded in the back of the screwdriver. You have some tools under your seat here, and you can assemble the screwdriver in such a way that you can pop it off pretty easily. But this one's nice because it's sort of tamper, I'll say resistant, not tamper proof. It's sort of a modified Torx with a tamper proof pin in the middle here. Mostly I bought it. I'm not really worried about people screwing with my oil. I bought it because I like the looks of it. It's aluminum. It says BMW Boxer. I think it looks kind of slick. A lot nicer than just sort of an ugly piece of plastic there. So I guess that's pretty much it for the 2013 BMW 1200 GS Adventure Big Bore motorcycle. I really love this bike. A couple thousand miles on it so far. Really happy with it. I think I'll keep it for a while. Thanks for watching.